Imagine a city, not on any map, not in any history book. A city so vast, so impossibly sprawling, that its mere existence shatters our understanding of reality. This isn't science fiction. For a brief, terrifying period, an entire team of highly credentialed researchers swore they had found it, and then it vanished. Why has every trace of this discovery, this infinite city, been systematically erased, and why does no one, not even the researchers themselves, dare to speak its name? To unravel this chilling enigma, we must first journey back to the late 1990s, to a time of burgeoning satellite technology and ambitious deep Earth probes. It was during this era that a covert geophysical initiative, codenamed Project Horizon, was quietly underway. Their mission, to map the most remote and uncharted corners of the Amazonian basin, not for terrestrial resources but for anomalies that might suggest extraterrestrial influence or undiscovered geological phenomena. The team, a multidisciplinary group of geologists, quantum physicists, and cultural anthropologists, was led by Dr. Aris Thorne, a man known as much for his ruthless skepticism as his groundbreaking theories. Initially, their findings were mundane: dense jungle, predictable seismic activity. But then the data began to shift. Anomalous energy signatures, non-natural reverberations. These weren't just unusual, they were impossible. Beneath a particularly dense, previously unmapped section of the Amazon, the instruments detected something impossibly vast, geometrically perfect, yet structurally incongruous with any known natural formation. The initial scan suggested a structure so immense, so labyrinthine, that it stretched for hundreds of kilometers, impossibly layered, defying all conventional architectural principles. Dr. Thorne, initially dismissive, grew increasingly disturbed. The readings were consistent, repeating across multiple independent verification systems. What they were seeing, or rather what they were sensing, was an incomprehensible, man-made, or rather intelligently designed megastructure buried deep beneath the Earth. A decision was made. An expedition was necessary, not just to confirm, but to comprehend. The expedition itself was a monumental undertaking. A small elite team was assembled, comprised of Thorne, two quantum sensor specialists, a structural engineer, and a seasoned survivalist. They were dropped into the heart of the most inhospitable jungle, a place where the canopy was so thick that sunlight barely pierced the gloom. From the moment their boots hit the muddy forest floor, an oppressive silence settled over them, broken only by the hum of their advanced detectors. The closer they got to the coordinates, the stranger things became. Compasses spun erratically. Their sophisticated GPS units flickered in and out, displaying nonsensical coordinates. The air grew heavy, thick with an almost metallic tang, and a low, resonant thrumming vibrated through the ground, felt more than heard. The jungle itself seemed to warp around them. Trees grew in impossible angles, their foliage a deeper, almost sickly green. One of the quantum specialists, Dr. Lena Petrova, began reporting minor temporal distortions, moments where she felt a sense of déjà vu so profound it was sickening, or brief flashes where the jungle around them seemed to shimmer, as if reality itself was struggling to maintain its form. The team's initial excitement slowly curdled into a growing dread. This wasn't just an archaeological find. It felt like they were encroaching on something ancient, alien, and deeply unstable. After weeks of relentless trekking, battling impossible terrain, and an increasing sense of disorientation, they finally reached the epicenter of the anomaly. The jungle abruptly ceased, giving way to an immense, perfect circle of barren earth, as if a colossal stamp had pressed down. In the center of this clearing, partially exposed from the earth, was a wall. But not just any wall. It was a monolith of unknown obsidian-like material, impossibly smooth, absorbing all light. Its surface wasn't flat, but curved in ways that seemed to contradict perspective. As they approached, the scale became terrifyingly apparent. This wasn't a segment of a wall. It was a sheer rising face stretching hundreds of meters into the air, disappearing into the dense clouds above, and seemingly extending infinitely into the earth below. This was their first visual contact with a part of the infinite city. The initial breach was made through a naturally occurring fissure in the monolith's base, likely caused by ancient seismic activity. What lay beyond was a nightmare rendered in stone. The team entered a vast, echoing chamber lit by an unseen ambient glow that emanated from the walls themselves. Pathways twisted and turned, not just horizontally but vertically, along surfaces that should have been ceilings. Pillars spiraled into nothingness, connecting to structures that defied gravity. Doors opened into what appeared to be infinite corridors that bent at impossible angles, leading to vast empty plazas that seemed to encompass entire horizons within the city's confines. Their standard surveying equipment malfunctioned almost immediately. Lasers bent. Sonar readings returned maddening paradoxes. Dr. Petrova, increasingly agitated, described regions where magnetic north would randomly invert and where the echoes of their own voices would return from directions they hadn't spoken towards. Her quantum sensors began picking up minute shifts in local space-time, suggesting that within the city, the very fabric of reality was mutable. Thorne, ever the pragmatist, tried to maintain order, but even he felt the psychological strain. Hours passed like minutes, and minutes stretched into what felt like days. They discovered staircases that apparently led further into the structure's core, plunging into absolute darkness, exhaling an unnervingly cold breeze that carried no sound. They saw vast open rooms, some leading to what looked like colossal docking bays, others to bizarre crystalline gardens where plants grew in defiance of natural law, glowing with an internal light. The sense of being watched, of being an intruder in a place not meant for human eyes, grew overpowering. Then came the whispers. Faint, undulating sounds that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, indecipherable, yet deeply unsettling. They explored for 3 agonizing days, though their internal chronometers reported only hours had passed. The climax of their terror came in a massive hexagonal chamber where the ambient glow intensified, revealing intricate patterns etched into the walls, vibrating with an internal light. As they stared, transfixed, the patterns began to shift, coalescing into what looked like colossal abstract eyes. The whispers surged, becoming a cacophony of non-human speech that seemed to echo directly inside their minds, promising untold knowledge and unimaginable horror simultaneously. Panic seized the team. Thorne, overriding his ingrained caution, ordered an immediate retreat. The escape was a blur of adrenaline and disorientation, navigating the impossible geometry backward, the whispers chasing them. As they scrambled out of the fissure and into the normal jungle, a profound exhaustion coupled with an overwhelming sense of dread washed over them. They looked back just as the ground began to tremble. The colossal obsidian wall, the entrance to the infinite city, shimmered once, then slowly, impossibly, began to sink back into the earth, the barren circle of ground closing over it like a wound. Within minutes, the jungle had reclaimed the space, leaving no trace of the monstrous structure that had been there just moments before. The only evidence was their haunted faces and the raw, unprocessable data on their corrupted drives. Yet the story doesn't end with their escape. Upon their extraction, the team was immediately debriefed by a shadowy government agency, their equipment confiscated, their memories questioned, their findings dismissed as a collective hallucination induced by jungle fever. Every scrap of data, every personal journal, every recording was systematically erased or classified at the highest level. Dr. Thorne and his team were subjected to extensive psychological evaluations, followed by years of enforced silence. They were offered new identities, lucrative positions in unrelated fields, under the unspoken condition that they never, ever speak of what they found. Dr. Petrova, the quantum specialist, quietly resigned from academia, disappearing from public life, rumored to have spent her remaining years sketching impossible geometries in a private sanatorium. The survivalist vanished completely. Thorne himself, a man once brimming with intellectual vigor, became a recluse, his brilliant mind haunted by the impossible vistas he had witnessed. To this day, no official record of Project Horizon exists. The satellite data was selectively purged, the geographical coordinates scrubbed from digital archives. The Infinite City, whatever it was, an ancient alien construct, an interdimensional gateway, a manifestation of unthinkable physics, returned to its oblivion, taking with it the sanity and peace of those who glimpsed its impossible form. The silence surrounding it is absolute, a testament not just to its strangeness, but to the sheer terror it instilled in those who experienced it firsthand. The question remains, why go to such lengths to erase a mere hallucination? What dark implications did the Infinite City hold that necessitated its complete removal from human consciousness? And perhaps more unsettlingly, if something so vast and impossible could simply vanish, what else exists beyond the veil of our perception, waiting to be unknowingly stumbled upon, only to be silently swallowed by the archives of forgotten horrors? Perhaps it's not truly gone, but merely waiting for the right moment, or the wrong eyes, to once again reveal its incomprehensible presence. And maybe, just maybe, it's better that way. After all, some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, only to be feared. If you want more spine-chilling explorations into the unknown, join us next time as we dive into the inexplicable disappearance of a remote island civilization, a mystery that echoes the chilling tale you've just heard.